Hi, y'all. This is Maddie here with Jeff's Cars and Garage. Wait, that's not right. This is Jeff with Jeff's Cars and Garage, and I'm interviewing him today. How are you doing today, Jeff?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Well, we're getting to know him again a little bit today. So I know you are a car guy, as I have been around you, obviously, my whole life. Do you have any idea how many cars you have owned in your lifetime? And maybe how many might have been Mercedes?
Okay, so in my entire life, I think I'm over 150. I've got a list in my desk drawer someplace. So I think I'm over 150. And Mercedes, I believe I'm at 17 in my entire life. I believe. I'll have to go back and count them.
All right, and then next one, when did you first get involved with working on cars, and who was your influence, or were there several people that influenced you to do this?
Okay, so I started working on cars with my dad back when I was, oh gosh, 10, 12, 13, 14 years old. And then as I was in high school, I had a friend by the name of Robbie who he was quite the mechanic. Him and his little brother, and we worked on back then in the 70s. It was Firebird Trans Ams.
All right. And have you ever worked in the automobile industry, or do you currently work in the automobile industry?
No, I have not. I have actually worked in the RV industry, and but never. I guess. Well, let me rephrase that. I guess I have sold cars, um, a part of my life, and worked at a Chevrolet dealership in Idaho for a brief time. But as far as working as a career in the automotive industry, no, just the RV industry for a while.
All right. And I also know that you're an old fart, but do you remember what your first car was? Your very first car?
My
Long, long ago in the dinosaur
long,
ages.
long ago in the dinosaur ages. Oh my gosh. My first car was a 68 Datsun 510 sedan, and I was 16 years old when I bought that car, and I paid $550 for that car when I bought it.
Wish these times were like that.
No kidding.
And during your earlier years, let's say about high school, what was your favorite car that you've owned?
Oh my. Okay, so in high school, I had a 1973 Oldsmobile Cutlass with a Rocket 350.
Ooh, schnazzy.
Oh, and it was nice. And it had a quadrajet carburetor on it. I found one very similar to it, and mine had the white half Landau top on it, and it had the bench seat in it. I did find one very much like it. I think it was a 74 up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Very similar to mine, except for the fact that it had the car color burgundy hardtop on it, and it had bucket seats with the floor shifter. Beautiful car. I wish I still kind of had that one. It brings back memories. That car was just a wonderful car.
And out of all of the cars that you've owned in your lifetime, can you nail down the one that has been your most favorite of all time out of all of them?
Oh my word. So, oh man, Madison, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I gotta say, you want one?
Or top three, if it
Okay.
has to be.
All right, so we'll go with the top three. So, one of the ones that I liked the most was I liked the Cutlass, but I think that one of the most favorite cars I think I liked, or that I've owned that I liked the most, was a 1985 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. I drove that thing. Oh my goodness, I drove it 185,000 miles and without any issues whatsoever. The second, my favorite cars of all times, was the Mercedes-Benz 560 SEL. Not the one that I have, but the one when you were in kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that car, and part of the reason I like that car the most was because you girls liked it. I mean, because you thought it was so cool to go to school with the heated seats in the back seat.
Even if it was a short distance, you know?
Even though it was literally 8 blocks.
It was still nice.
Yeah, it
Warmed
was
your
still
tush.
It did, and it did. And the third one, you know, I don't know. I've had a lot of cars that I really have liked. So, but the top two would be the Cadillac and that Mercedes, that particular '86 560 SEL.
And what was the worst car that you've owned?
Oh, geez. Probably the worst car that I've ever owned, that I've even owned the shortest amount of time, was the 1973 Pontiac Le Mans. Now, the car was nice. I mean, it had floor shifter, bucket seats. It was a loaded up car, and I had traded, I'm trying to remember, because I was in high school. So my first car was the Datsun, my second car was the Olds Cutlass. The third car, I'd have to go back and look. I think it was the Le Mans. But what had happened on that car, I was driving to work or home from work one evening, you know, it was a high school job, and the sunroof blew out.
Oh, no.
I mean, literally, it picked it up and
Toodaloo.
it was gone. It was laying on the highway, and so I think I owned that car 3 weeks.
And what is the craziest thing that you've ever done to a car or while working on a car?
Oh, so if my first wife is watching this, she'll probably remember this. But back when my oldest daughter was probably, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years old, 3 or 4 years old maybe, I rebuilt an engine in the kitchen of the house.
A great place for that.
Yeah, I mean, literally had the engine block sitting on the kitchen counter, cleaning the cylinders and taking, you know, I had it on the floor, taking the heads and everything off of it, and rebuilt the engine in the kitchen. Now, keep in mind, this house was only 625 square feet, and I'm young, dumb, and you know, it was a small 2-bedroom house. I mean, it was just literally. And I don't even know the reason why I was rebuilding the engine on a '77 Pontiac Firebird Esprit or whatever it is, whatever it was, because the engine wasn't blown. I think I was just trying to make it better. And my buddy Robbie, the one of the influences, was one that he was helping me and guiding me through it. So because we were all in the kind of a Firebird club kind of thing.
Okay. And I know that you have several Mercedes. What made you pick Mercedes?
Oh, tough question. I've always liked the Mercedes automobile. You know, they're a nice looking car. You know, in the '70s, it was a status symbol, I think. You know, and even when I was in high school and you know, post high school, working, you know, selling shoes and stuff like that. I worked at a high-end department store. I've always admired the people, you know, that drove Mercedes there, you know, in Wichita, which is the town I grew up in. I just enjoyed the car. I just enjoy the look of the car. You know, it's German engineering, and of course you know, with my last name and coming from, you know, basically Switzerland, Germany, you know, Europe, it just is a car that I've always admired, and I like the styling of them.
They do look very pretty.
Yeah, they do.
Now, going to your YouTube channel, Jeff's Cars and Garage, what inspired you to start doing your YouTube channel?
So, you know, several things. One is, you know, do I want to? I'm not a perfect individual, and I really enjoy helping people if they can learn something. I mean, in today's times, you know, you take a car like this one here. This is a 1972 Mercedes-Benz. Most people don't even know how to work on them, much less do they really even care about them. You know, this is kind of restoring some of the the history of the automobile, because today cars, you plug in a computer and it tells you what's wrong with it. This one, you got to listen to it. And so, if I'm helping somebody through learning, how to work on a car, an inexpensive way to do it. I mean, just like this paint job here, it would have cost me somewhere between what, $6,000 to $10,000 to get it done. But with the help of your boyfriend Yui, we call him Jose on the channel. Um, I think we've done a pretty good job. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but it is in much better condition now than what it was when we got it.
I would agree with that.
So, I guess in the long story short, the short answer is I hope that I'm helping somebody along the way, and maybe creating entertainment. I'm not a comical guy in any way, but you know, I don't know. Is it something I enjoy? I'm enjoying doing it. It's kind of a hobby.
And what is your goal with your YouTube channel? Where would you like to see it?
Oh, I'd like to be, make some money with it. The work that I've done. Could it supplement my hopefully soon to retire? Maybe retire. I don't know. But I enjoy working on cars. I enjoy talking about it. So, the goal is and any YouTuber now that I'm up to 100 and I don't know how many videos do I have out? 170 videos, 170 plus. Anybody's goal is to hopefully maybe make a little bit of money on it.
Do you have a goal to see how many subscribers you get? How many you want to get in the future?
Yeah,
like maybe by the end of 2025?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, let's see. I've only got about 1,400 subscribers. I'd like to see that at least 3,000, 4,000 subscribers. 10,000 would be great. Folks, 20,000 subscribers. Somewhere in that way. It's. I guess I would like to be up there with some of the YouTubers that are out there. This has been a long process. It's tough. I mean, you and I have talked, on the titling and what are people, what do people look for in titles, and how does how do you get into the artificial intelligence to where it can sit there and actually help you
Recommend titles.
And all the assistant stuff. I'm not a computer geek, in any way, so I don't know how to do it. And
baby steps.
Yeah,
Dinosaur.
I mean, we've been doing this before. I started the Idiot Car Guys with Tom, and that got to a certain point where I think we were monetized, although then it just kind of went away. So I kind of went on my own. But I don't have time to sit at a computer all day or and edit videos. All my videos, folks, they're raw. They're uncut and the only script we have now is this one right here on the paper.
And then I know that I'm sure there are YouTubers that you do like. Who are they and why?
Oh, well, this is an easy one, and there are several, and they're all here in the Midwest. My favorite YouTuber is Hoovy's Garage, Tyler Hoover from Wichita, Kansas, or in the Wichita area. And short story about Tyler, I think back when I was in my younger years, well, Tyler wasn't even born, I think I think I had met his grandmother. And she used to drive a white Mercedes, which Tyler has shown on his channel. I think she used to be friends with the owner of the company I work for, who back then was Henry's Department Store, and she and several other prominent people in Wichita. They were in that group, and Tyler, his videos, while entertaining, because he's the his channel is the dumbest car channel on the internet. He's entertaining. now, and then getting the wizard involved, and he's the younger kind of person that has to take the vehicle to go get get it worked on, and he'll have those repair bills. Where I'm the kind of person, I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to fix it, and that's kind of where my channel goes. Another one is Monkey Wrench Mike. I really like him. He's my age or in my age group, and I think he would be one I would like to meet in person. He lives in the Tulsa area, and he's a Mercedes guy as well, and so he does most. In fact, I think he pretty much does all the work himself, with the exception of the body work. Another one is Auto Auction Rebuilds, Randy, down in Oklahoma, around the Oklahoma City area. I'd like to meet him because his channel has really grown and blown up pretty much organically, and how he's gotten over 500,000 subscribers, I'll never know. But he started out, and I went and did some history lessons on him. He started out as the Uber guy, and he just talked about Uber when he was doing Uber driving. And I thought, if this guy could do it, an old fart like me, as you call me, could do it. And there's others. I like J.R. Go, John Ross. He lives in Wichita. I like the Car Wizard, who has his shop in Newton, Kansas. And I grew up in that part of the country, and how Wichita has done so well with YouTubers. It's phenomenal. I'm probably one of the only ones up here in Nebraska that does the car content and so forth, at least that I'm aware of. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe and maybe you don't know. The Wichita area, those guys have really done a great job of doing YouTube, and I really want to be a part of it.
Okay, and what is the furthest that you have traveled to purchase a car?
Oh my goodness. So the furthest, I believe, it was a Lincoln Mark V that he did about a year ago, and I bought it for the channel. Went clear. It was a 9.5, 10-hour drive. Went to southeastern Colorado to pick up that car. And I've always wanted a Lincoln Mark V, and so that one came up on Marketplace, and the guy come to find out, was not very truthful. Huey and I, we worked on it. We got some of the electrical issues done, but apparently there was more work that needed to be done. And after I got it, I had my fill of it and sold it. So, but yeah, I guess that would have been 9 hours. That would have been, it's a 9-hour drive. That's probably 400 miles, 450 miles.
All right. Yeah, that's a distance just for a car.
Just for a stupid car.
That you sold. That
I bought, drove for a while, and then sold.
And what is the rest of the family's take on this hobby of yours?
I don't know. Let me ask you. What's the rest of the family's take on this hobby?
Well, it's a pain in the butt, but it's fun. But how's your wife feel about it?
Well, she doesn't like white.
But she claimed this car, though.
But she claimed this car.
And hasn't changed her mind.
And hasn't. And she's been coming out here. I think she wants to get involved in putting it back together. We've kind of been kicking her out of here. But, and I've always had this hobby. When we lived in Idaho, when you were young, you and your sister were young, and we lived there in Eagle, Idaho. I was flipping cars back then. I was buying cars at Copart back when the fee was $55. And that's where, we bought, I don't know if you remember the little 4-door Blazer that we had when you were young, and we towed the pop-up.
No, that was too long ago.
Okay. And there's pictures of it someplace. That was one of the first cars I bought, and I think I gave $150 for the car. Your mother sourced the parts for that on eBay and wherever she could find it. We put that back together, and that's what we used to tow the pop-up. And then I ended up trading that for her Land Rover.
So she kind of tolerates it.
I think she's gotten used to it.
Well, good. What are some of the most challenging and rewarding aspects of working on cars?
Well, challenging is if things don't fit together quite right, or I can't solve the problem without taking it to a mechanic. And I mean, I've got a couple cars right now, the white 300 SE, that it's baffled me. It just doesn't run right, and I'm gonna have to take it and spend the money to have it fixed, or just sell it as is. The rewarding part of it is, doing something like this car here. We took our time. We did set a goal, and kind of a goal, and the car is painted by April 15th, by tax day. It's taking a little bit longer to put things back together because brand new rubber seals and things don't fit together. But when it's back together, that's the reward. Taking it, driving around town. I know the Jaguar you liked.
Still miss it.
The XJ6. People looked at that car and they said, they gave it a thumbs up when we were driving through town. And I hope that happens with this one here because, I think we did a pretty decent job on this car. And so that's the reward is, getting the looks and the stares.
Seeing how far you've come.
Yep.
And another one here. What are some important factors you consider when choosing a car to purchase?
Oh, Lord. Well, normally I like to see if they run and drive, but that hasn't been the case. This one didn't run and drive when I bought it.
Yeah, that's the important part, right?
Yeah, it would be important.
To get you to point A to point B.
Right, but this one didn't run. The 280 SEL 4-door, 4.5 4-door sedan didn't run when I bought it. The diesel started and kind of ran, but didn't when I bought it. Now it runs and drives. The white 300 SE did run, and it runs worse now than it did when I bought it. The 300 SL didn't run. So I guess probably the most important part of it, the only one that did run and drive was the 560 SEL because I drove it back from Lincoln. The most important part is if the structure of the car is there. This car is virtually rust-free. I mean, pretty much been underneath this car. There's no rust. I mean, there was a little body rust right around where the bumper mounts over on the driver's side. But I think the overall structure of the car with the lack of rust is more important.
All right. Now, these last questions are just some random non-related or non-car related questions.
Oh boy.
What is or was your favorite TV show series and why?
Oh boy. So my favorite TV show, it was a series. It was back in the 70s, and it was the TV show Dallas. There's the series Dallas. And part of it, I think, is, I like J.R. Ewing, and oh wait a minute, there were Mercedes in that
Of
TV
course
series.
there were.
So I guess that's part of it. And back then, Mercedes was a status symbol. Today, I think Land Rover is the status symbol, or a Mercedes G-Wagon is the status symbol.
And what is or was your favorite movie or a series of movies and why?
Oh, okay. Well, I have two. Can I say two?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, I like the two Top Guns. The Top Gun
Of
and then
course.
Top Gun Maverick. I mean,
They are good movies.
I feel the need for speed. And then the other, because I'm in the Midwest, you can't not like Twister and Twisters.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
those are good movies.
They're good movies. Yeah, some of the stuff in them fake. I'm sure it is. I mean, it's movie magic. But yeah, tornado chasing. It's kind of fun.
All right. Well, there was another question that I wanted to ask you. It's about your take on electric vehicles, but that can wait for another video because that can definitely turn into a rant. I know that for sure.
Yeah, because I'm a motor guy.
Yep. So this is going to wrap up the interview for now, but I hope that y'all enjoyed getting to know Jeff with Jeff's Cars and Garage.
I appreciate it, and thank you, Madison, for doing this. A couple of questions I didn't know you were going to ask, so Some of them, being this is not technically not scripted. We're not editing it, and folks, I do appreciate you watching, and I hope that does give you a better understanding of who I am and what kind of makes me tick. Please hit like, subscribe, and all those good things because I'm trying to help the channel grow. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.